Can you state your name and occupation, please, and whether or not you're a fan of Katie Hopkins?
My name's Rebecca Shackley. I'm a teacher of media at Thomas House School, and I am not a fan of Katie Hopkins.
What do you already know about Katie Hopkins and the media?
I know that she's quite a vindictive columnist for the Sun newspaper, and she's appeared on programmes such as Celebrity Big Brother, although I question that she should be given a celebrity status, and that she was a contestant in The Apprentice, and there was some kind of controversy around that. And I know that she has a Twitter account where she basically, on a daily basis, is nasty to people, members of the public, other celebrities, and is just vicious and vile.
Do you think the media tries to manipulate people or change their views?
Yes, as in the bigger context of the media, yeah, definitely. You can see that through all sorts of different examples. So newspaper headlines, you know, certain newspapers will lean towards certain sort of political views, you know, certain magazines will show certain sort of images that have been manipulated, which make women feel quite body conscious and things like that. I'm not saying all media does that, but certainly the media as a whole is portrayed to do that, yes. Yeah.
So you mentioned that TV does like cut clips and stuff. Is it therefore to say that, or think that maybe the media is to blame and not Katie Hopkins for what's said?
To a certain extent, you could say they have their own responsibility of blame, but Katie Hopkins has her own blame herself. If you look at some of the things that she has tweeted and the column that she writes, they're two really contrasting examples. So there's an article that she wrote about some illegal immigrants and where she called them cockroaches, and there's been an investigation into whether or not she should have been allowed to say that. Now, as that was released through her publisher, so through the Sun newspaper, that is an example of where the media has got some sort of blame to allow her to publish that kind of content. Whereas Twitter accounts where she is vindictive and nasty. I mean, only the other day I read about her talking about some celebrity's child because they had a baby and it was a hairy baby and she thought it was disgusting. You know, that's her own freedom of speech, and that's what it comes down to. She's not nice because when she is allowed to use freedom of speech to say her opinions, she chooses not to be nice. So you can blame the media to some extent where they allow it to be published like that, and they give her a forum and a platform on which to kind of project this kind of nonsense that she likes to talk. But also it's her own freedom of speech that allows that to happen. And would I cut back on freedom of speech? Well, no, not entirely. I think there are, you know, people should have the right to say what they want to, but I think she goes too far with it, and sometimes there should be restrictions, definitely through Twitter, banning perhaps some of the tweets that she allows to be put on there. So I think they need to do more for that service to stop things like that being allowed to be said. Hatred messages.
Kate Hopkins expanded recently, and she done a show called My Fat Story. Have you heard of this?
I've heard of it, yes, but I didn't see any of it. And to be honest, I'm not sure if I'd want to see it. As somebody who is obese myself, it would be fascinating to kind of see actually whether she learned something about obesity as a problem. I think it's an issue that is not just so clean cut. You know, obviously people themselves, it is an issue of willpower in some people, but some people genuinely have health issues where they cannot control their weight. And I don't think she's very fair. She kind of pigeonholes everybody where she doesn't know specifically about people's cases, and hopefully she maybe learned something on that journey through that documentary. I'm not sure because I haven't watched it, But I'm not sure if I would want to watch it, because I feel like if it's anything to go by from what she said in the past, then she probably hasn't learned anything about herself and what it's like for these people.
Do you think that she's a good role model for the young kids, as you've said that?
Definitely not a good role model for young kids. She destroys people's self-esteem. She's quite good in the sense that she's quite an activist in terms of the LGBT community, but that's a result of Big Brother. And partly I would question that as well, whether she's actually genuine about that as well, because of the fact that she's said so many vile things. It's hard to believe what is real and what isn't real about her. And also, you've got to question her as a character. Is she actually like that, or is she saying it to get headlines, which she clearly does? So no, I don't think she's a good role model at all. You know, she's horrible to people who are obese. She's horrible to children. She's judgmental about their children's names. She's, you know, judgmental about class. You know, yeah, she's just horrible. She's just not